My name is Echo Bodine. I am a professional psychic. I am an intuitive. I've written several books on the genre, the spiritual genre of psychic development, living intuitively, ghosts, and life after death. And I want to talk to you today about living intuitively. And what I need to do is go all the way back to when I was 7 years old. And I had no idea why and how my mom always knew everything. She always knew. She knew everything about us kids, about our dad. She just always had this knowing. And I was literally 7 years old, and I said, Mom, how do you always know what everybody's doing? And she said, oh, it's my intuition. So I said, well, what is intuition? She said, well, it's this thing that women have. And, it's just inside, and it's kind of a voice, but you don't really hear it. And she said, it's in your tummy. So being a little Virgo, analyzing everything to death, I couldn't imagine what was inside my tummy that would help my mom know what everything was. So what she started doing was every time I had a question for her, for example, Mom, Debbie asked me if I could spend the night, Friday night at her house. She's going to have a slumber party. Can I go to the slumber party? And my mom said, what does your intuition say? So I said, I don't know. She pointed to my stomach and she said, well, honey, what does it say in there? I don't know. And so she said, well, just see, how does it feel? If you think yes, do you get a feeling with that? Or when you think no, do you get a feeling with that? Well, I was 7 and I wanted to go to the slumber party. So I said, oh, I think it says yes. So she said, okay, then yes, of course you can go to the slumber party. Okay, so Friday night came and I went to the slumber party, and about halfway through, I missed my mom and my dad, so I wanted to go home. And so I called my mom and I said, would you come and get me? Yes. And so she came and picked me up, and she said to me in the car, she said, honey, your intuition would have said no. It would have known the other day that that was not a good idea for you. I had no idea what this woman was talking about. My stomach would say yes, and my stomach would say no. Okay, well, she stayed on me. God bless her, because, I continued to grow up, and she continued to point to my stomach every time there was a question that I needed an answer to. And after a while, I started to pay attention. Oh, wait a minute. I think I felt that. But it wasn't a voice like we think. It's just, it's a knowing on the inside. And my dad, he would always make fun of us. Yeah, it's that women's intuition thing. Yeah, whatever. He didn't take it seriously for a very long time, other than he noticed Mom was always right, because she always listened to that still small voice inside. Real fast. One of my brothers saw a spirit. All right, scared the heck out of him. She called a friend of hers and said, could you give me the phone number of that psychic that you went to, because my son just had this really weird experience. Okay, called the psychic. The psychic said, yes, Mrs. Bodine, this happened for an important reason, and I need to see you and your oldest daughter for a psychic reading. Well, this was in 1965. The only way you could go to a psychic was if you knew somebody that knew somebody. Everything was underground back then. And so it was just, it's like, what does she mean she has to see us for a psychic reading? What does that even mean? And so, Mom was really polite and said, okay, well, thank you. I'll get back to you on that. And of course, curiosity. So we wondered, why did she want to see us? We went off to the psychic, got a reading, and she told us that we were part of a psychic family and that our family was going to be famous someday, that my mom, my baby brother Michael, myself, my sister, we all had psychic abilities, and yada, yada, yada. Okay. There was a woman about 6 weeks later. Oh, and the psychic told us that too. She said, your teacher will appear. Okay. So about 6 weeks later, a woman out of the blue calls my mom and says that her spirit guides told her that she needed to teach my family how to develop our psychic abilities. And she gave us her address and said, you know, I expect to see you in my home a week from Thursday night. And Mom came upstairs and said, okay, that lady just called and said, we're supposed to take these classes. Okay. I mean, believe me, you guys, I was not excited about this at all. Okay. And my mom was kind of freaked out too. All right. So off we went to the psychic and we learned what psychic abilities were. And they are different from intuition. Okay. But what I also discovered was by having a relationship with my intuition, which I had already, by age 17, I was pretty good at it, you know, being able to sense it. And I found how psychic abilities, which are all located up here, are different from intuition down here. And I also saw how intuition can help a psychic discern their different gifts and interpret their different visions. Okay, so I saw how intuition was really helpful with having psychic abilities. Okay, well, I didn't know what this intuition thing was. It just, the way I was raised was, it was this thing women had, men didn't have it. And it was just this, I don't know, just this thing inside of us. And I was, again, back to being an analytical Virgo, I was always analyzing things and trying to figure out, well, how does that work? How does that particular person think about that? And why do they do it that way? And all right. And so I started reading books and things, you know, I would read books about intuition, but it was always like there was a piece missing. And I don't know, I was on a quest to understand this part of me that, you know what, it never, ever lied to me. It always guided me. And even when it had, well, I guess I'll say the word bad information, or what we would perceive as negative information, even when it gave me negative information, I'll give you an example. There was a calmness with it. For example, I was on my way to the doctor one day. Now, I was, at this point, I think I was in my, oh, no, I was still in my 20s. And I just driving the car and I said to my intuition, okay, would you help me remember everything that I was going to talk to the doctor about? And the answer came, no. And so I started to laugh. I said to my intuition, you're not going to help me? Okay, so for all of you out there, I always talk to my stomach, right? This is my life. So I said, you're not going to help me? And this voice said, accident. It was just like that, just accident. So I said, accident? I'm not going to have an accident. And I just sat there. I said, are you accident? Didn't say anything more. So I thought, okay, well, fine. All right, I'm going to make sure, because I got to get to the doctor. And so I'm looking at everything except in my rearview mirror, where I got creamed by a drunk in the middle of the day. Yes, I didn't make it to the doctor that day. Okay, so see, the point of that story is that even when it said no, or accident. It's just a calmness. There's always a calmness with intuition. I was a member of Unity Church. I loved Unity, still do. And I thought, I want to become a Unity minister. And I asked my intuition about it. So what do you think about that? Yes. Cool. So I went to my minister and I said, I want to become a minister here. Okay. And he said, you have to take a year's worth of prerequisite classes to prepare to go to the village. Okay. So again, I go to my intuition. Yeah, is this a good decision? Yeah, okay, cool. We're on the right track. And there was a book called Lessons in Truth by Emily Cady. And one of the chapters is about the still small voice within. And when I saw it, it was like ding, 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 ding. Pay attention. And I thought, okay. So we were in this book club study, and we're reading this chapter. I was talking about the still small voice within is the voice of God. What? I read it again. It'll never lie to you. Wait. Everybody just slow down here. You guys, I had rushes through my whole body. It was like I could hear the Hallelujah choir. I was literally blown away. Wait a minute. And I remember I stopped the class and I said, okay, hold on, you guys. I need to talk about this. And I looked at my minister and I said, Don, is this saying that intuition is the voice of God? And he looked at me almost like he pitied me that I was so slow. And he said, yes, Echo. I said, what? Intuition is the voice of God? And he said, yes, Echo. Are you sure? Yes, Echo. I said, well, why doesn't anybody tell us that? And he said, I don't know. But yes, it's the voice of God. And it always has your back. What? You guys, I can't even tell you. It was like the biggest aha moment of my life. And I mean, I couldn't wait to tell my mom. I couldn't wait to tell my dad. And I said to my minister, well, do men have it too? He said, yes. And so do animals. What? You guys, it was absolutely the coolest thing. Like my brain just exploded with this little tiny piece of information that this thing that had been guiding me since I was 7 years old was actually the voice of God. Well, that brings up a whole set of, wait a minute, the voice of God has been guiding me? That's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. I mean, what if God wants me to do something that I don't want to do? And then I stopped and thought, well, has that ever happened? No. Okay. Has it always seemed to protect me? Yes. Okay. So I can really trust this? And, it was cool. My minister was really cool with me, very patient. And he said, Echo, it's never steered you wrong, has it? No, not really. Okay. And it does feel like it has your back, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Okay. At this time, I was teaching psychic development classes. And I can't even tell you how many students came to me and said, have you read Living in the Light? Oh my God, you're going to love it. And I thought, God, sounds too woo-woo to me. I don't know. These people, they just get carried away with stuff. Living in the Light. So, but I did say to my intuition, I said, okay, should I read it? Not now. Oh, not now. Okay. All right. A couple months went by. The book is now on the bestsellers list. And people are again asking me, have you read the book? Hmm. No, not yet. Okay. And I'd go to my intuition. Should I read it? Not yet. Okay. And I mean, students were coming out of the woodwork saying, have you read Living in the Light? No, not yet. I will when my intuition says I should. Okay. So jump ahead about 2 years. Okay. And no, it couldn't have been 2 years. Oh yeah, it could have been 2 years. Okay. And within a week's period, 3 people out of the blue said, have you read Living in the Light? There's that book again. So I went to my intuition. I said, should I read Living in the Light? Yep. Wait, what? You want me to read Living in the Light? The woo-woo book? Yeah. Dang. All right. So I went and I got the book. I started to read it. This is pretty good stuff. I like this book a lot. And I'm reading it. As every chance I got to be alone, I was reading the book. And the book was freaking me out because she talks about the female side of us, the male side of us, the female part of God, the male part of God. She talks about gut feelings, inner knowing, intuition never lies. You can trust it 100%. And I discovered something interesting. I was married at the time, and we had a lot of challenges. I loved my husband dearly, but we had so many challenges. And there were times when I would say to my intuition, you know, should I stay in this? And it would say, for now, okay. And we'd go along for a while, and I was continuing to read the book. And one day I said to my husband, you know, this book is showing me how unhappy I am. And he said, well, stop reading the book. And I said, no, it's not about the book. It's about us. And he said, well, what do you want to do about it? And I said, I don't know yet. And so we didn't talk about the book at all. Didn't get into why or anything. And I kept checking in periodically. Should I? Is it time to get out of this? What else do we have left to do with or for each other? And my intuition kept saying, just wait. Just wait. Okay. And one morning I woke up and my intuition said, you're done. You have finished all that you can do with this relationship, and now you can move on. Whoa, I flew out of bed and I started crying because I thought, oh my God, really? This is a big deal. All I could think about was, yeah, but what about the dog? Oh God, and priorities, you know. And I said, oh my gosh, really? And it took me, I'd say 2 or 3 days before I was able to say to Jim, you know what? We're done. We've come as far as we can go with each other. And I said to him, I held up the book. I said, you need to read this book. I know this is what you've been searching for. And, you know, he had a few choice words about the book, which I'm not going to repeat here. And I thought, okay, all right. And he went and stayed with some friends of ours just so he could think things over. I could think things over. And he came back a couple of days later and said, all right, let me see that book. And he said, it feels like I'm supposed to read it. And he did. And within, I'd say 7 days. Yeah, I'd say 7 datake from the time he took the book, when he came back home and said, Beck, I have to go meet this woman. I have to go take classes from her. He said, men don't know that they've got intuition. And I want to teach men that they have intuition. And you're right. I have been looking for this book my whole life. we were both so happy and, oh, yay, you know, blah, blah, blah. And we were so supportive of each other. And we had a big garage sale so that he could go out to California and meet with Miss Gawain. And, you know, it was, I could see why my intuition had said for the last how many years, 2-3 years, not yet. When it came to reading the book, it had to be the perfect time. And it was the perfect time for Jim and I. He went out to California, and I could tell you 2 years worth of stories, but I'm going to tell you about the happy ending. My darling ex-husband married Shakti Gawain. Yep, it's the truth. And they lived happily ever after. The three of us became friends. And again, you guys, I could look back and see all the times I asked my intuition, should I read that goofy woo-woo book? No, not yet, not yet, not yet. But right at that time when my marriage was really struggling, intuition said, you can go get the book now. It was perfect. And since then, I mean, you know, it's so fun when your partner is thinking the same way you are, because you can talk about, gosh, you remember this, and we had that feeling, and you know, I don't know, life changed and got even better. Yeah, life was still going on. Life here on Earth can be extremely difficult, but what I have found, and I know I will continue to find, is that my intuition has always had my back. It doesn't, you know, my biggest fear about living intuitively was, okay, now that I know that it's God guiding me, is God going to make me sell all my possessions and go live on a mountaintop with a bunch of other monks or whatever I would be? I don't know what I would be, but no, that was just my old-fashioned ideas about God. And so, yeah, I had to work on my issues with God. Did I have issues with God? Did I trust God? In some ways I didn't. I had to really work through and realize it wasn't God that was in my way. It was the old beliefs that I was raised with. And I had very, very religious grandparents. Okay, so I'm sure my grandma's been turning over in her grave ever since anybody mentioned intuition to me. We have these old beliefs. Maybe nobody ever verbalized them to us, but we knew. They don't trust God. They hate God. They blame God for everything. God is a male. God is a mean man in heaven with a long white beard who is taking notes on every bad thought I have, every bad deed I do. See, this is a lot of us come to the table with these beliefs about God. But I'll tell you one thing that I have found to be true over and over and over. That negative stuff, not true, not true. This was back in the 80s, and everybody was talking about their higher self. All these people, all these friends of mine in the, I guess I'll say, New Age community. Oh, my higher self. What is that? And so I went to my friend Leroy, who was a regular meditator, and I wasn't. And I said, so do you know what the higher self is? He said, yeah. I said, well, what is it? He said, it's God. Where is it? He said, inside. What? He said, yeah, God's inside. And at the time, you guys, you know what? I didn't connect the dots. So, okay, God's inside, intuition's in there somewhere. Gosh, my stomach's very full right now. I didn't understand all of it. And so I said to him, well, how do you know God's in there? Well, Echo, if you learn how to meditate, I thought, oh, that's never going to happen. I can't slow down this brain of mine. He said, okay, someday it'll happen. All right. This is just a fun story. So back then I was on the treadmill every day. And that same week when I asked Lee about it, I got on the treadmill and I thought, I have an idea. and maybe it was my intuition telling me to do this, I don't know. But I got on the treadmill, I'm holding onto the railing, and my intuition says, close your eyes. Okay. And ask God, are you in there? All right. So I did. And I realized that being on the treadmill was really good for me because my brain had to keep my feet on the treadmill so that I wouldn't go flying off. So my brain was busy. Okay. So I'm on the treadmill and I said, God, are you in there? Okay. This is no exaggeration of any part. Boom. It was like I had just swallowed a floodlight, and this light comes out of me, literally. Yeah. And I got very still. I'm on a treadmill. Oh my God, what is this light? And I said, God, is that you? And I heard the words internally, yes, it's me. Oh my God, God's really in there. Holy crackers. What am I going to do? Okay. So that took me a little while to, again, you got to analyze it. And then you come to the the realization of, I can't really analyze this one. This one's got me stumped. All right. The next day, I go down to the treadmill. I'm on the treadmill, eyes are closed. God, are you still in there? And this light comes out. But it looks like Excalibur's sword. It was beautiful. So I said, okay, why are you looking like a sword? And the voice said, because I am your protector. And so what happened? It was really a good thing. Each day when I went down on the treadmill, I would close my eyes and I would say, good morning, God, or hi, God. And for a year, every day, when I would go down on the treadmill, and I would say, is there anything you want me to know today? At one point, I got a tablet and I put it right next to my treadmill because I was starting to get messages. They weren't coming up in here in my psychic abilities, but the messages were coming from within me. But you know what? It's like your whole body is communicating to you through words, but they're silent. And that's why, I think that's why we all get stuck, is because we hear words like it's the still small voice within, and we think, oh, it's going to be a voice. I asked this angel that works with me one time, I said, I was writing the book, it's called The Still Small Voice, and I was writing that book, and I said to her, how am I going to describe to people what intuition is? Because it's a hard thing to explain. And she said, tell them it's like their stomach is having a thought. Okay. So I know you got to think about that for a little bit, but that is what it's like. And okay, so every day for that first year, it was like the thought had a male tone to it. All right. And then the day came, got down on the treadmill. Morning, God. Good morning, Echo. Wait, what? Good morning, God. Good morning, Echo. Wait, whose voice is that? And my inner voice said, I'm the female side of God, and it's time that you get to know me. What? God's a man. She didn't say anything back. What? And you know what I said, you guys? It's so stupid what I said. But at the time, spontaneously, I said, okay, can I talk to the real God for just a second? I mean, I just needed him to say, it's okay. You haven't been taken over. And she stayed with me, she was always there with me, but it was the female energy. Let's put it that way. Female energy that spoke to me every day for a year. And after a while, it was no longer he. God was no longer he. Now she was she. But then came the time when now both sides of God speak to me. Okay. So I hear both sides. I hear the creative, loving, nurturing, gentle energy of the female side, and I hear the kind of intellectual. No, I don't want to, because I don't want to give the impression that just the practical, let's say that, the practical action, get things done kind of combination of the two is just magical. Really, it's the best way I can describe it. And now, you know, I'm at a place in my life, well, I have been actually for quite a while, but there's always this calmness with the voice. I don't have to get on the treadmill anymore. And well, actually it's broken, but that's a whole nother story. I can just go anywhere. I can be anywhere and say, I need some guidance here. And it comes. In the beginning, when you're talking to your intuition, you're trying to establish your relationship with your intuition. Just ask it simple questions. Yes, no, okay? Because in the beginning, you're going to be going through a process of building up a trust. All right? There's this silent voice within you, but it communicates to you. And you're going to be learning how it communicates to you. And you're going to feel what yes feels like and what no feels like. It's funny, the thing about no, when our intuition says no to us, and I've noticed this with my students and with myself, we always think, oh, I'm being denied. No, it's not like that. When intuition says no, it's usually because it has a better plan in mind for you. So let's say that I did this a year ago. I woke up that morning spontaneously and said, I want to go look at used cars. No. I said, no, I can't. No. But I want to go look at used cars. No. Okay. And so I was walking around my house and I heard, look at new cars. What? New cars? I can't afford a new car. Look at new cars. All right, well, I'll go look, but I'm going over to the used car lot. Didn't say anything. Went to the car dealership, walked in, saw my buddy who I always took it to this one dealership for, you know, oil changes and stuff. And I said to him, I want to look at cars. Well, and I could hear my intuition, new cars, new cars. So I said, okay, oh God, I was nervous. I said, I'd like to look at new cars. Oh my God, when I said it, you guys, I felt so calm inside. All right, maybe my intuition just wants me to see what's out there. 2 hours later, I drove away with my new vehicle, and it all felt absolutely right. So that's what I mean. When intuition says no, it's protecting us, or it has something better in mind for us. You know, we can get our little will in there, and so often we don't reach out for what we can really have. Again, it has to do with self-worth and what we've been taught and yada, yada, yada. So we do have those things that we have to work on about ourselves, about our beliefs. But your intuition, it will get stronger and stronger and stronger. In the beginning, you get the yes, you get the no. You get the no, you get the accident or whatever. Now, in my adult life, I get full sentences. I mean, really. But the thing about intuition that is a challenge for all of us is that it doesn't explain to us why it's telling us to do something. And we do it all the time. We ask, well, why? Why can't I have that used car? Why? It doesn't, you guys, it doesn't. As much as you beg for it to tell you the truth, or not to tell you the truth, to explain itself to you, it's not good. It's all about trusting. And that's what drives us nuts, is that, yes, God, I will trust you as long as you show me what the outcome of this is going to be. Then I will say, yes, I'll do that. It doesn't work like that. So it's about first sensing what it feels like, okay? And then it's about trusting it, taking the little steps that it's guiding you to take. You know, a thought just came into my mind. Many, many times throughout the day, we have to make decisions. Let's say somebody calls you today and says, hey, do you want to have dinner Friday night? Now, you might say, your mind might say, yeah, sure, I'd love to have dinner Friday night. But you get this feeling in your gut. So what I do with everybody, when they ask me to make a decision, I always say, I'll get back to you on that. And I sit with things for a while, because you know what? Intuition is going to know how you're going to be feeling on Friday. Are you going to be feeling like going out after work? Are you going to be feeling like, you know, hanging out with people on Friday night? Or are you going to be in a mood to just be home, wrapped up in a big blanket watching TV? Intuition knows you better than you will ever know yourself. It's so cool. And the other thing about it is that, like, coming up with dates. Okay, so let's say today is November, all right? And let's say that your family is saying, hey, let's do a family reunion next summer. Okay, right? You can ask your intuition, when would be a perfect date for everybody in the family to get together? Now, this might take some time, but what you would do is you would tell your family, you know, I'm going to talk to my intuition about this, or maybe you're not going to tell your family, but that's okay. You get out a calendar, you look at the month of June, you say, should we do it in June? No. Oh, really? I thought June 12th would be perfect. No. Okay, all right. Go to July. Think about July. Oh, you like July, huh? Okay. Should we do the 4th of July? No. Oh, really? Are you sure? No. Okay. All right. What about the next week? No. What about the next week? Oh, that feels really good. Okay. And then you look at each day and you say, this day, this day, this day, this day, perfect. Call your family back and you say, you know what? July 18th looks perfect. And as it turns out, June, it was cloudy, cold every weekend. July, 4th of July was a rain out. July 18th, perfect. The whole family can make it on July 18th. Now again, blows my mind. How does intuition know in November what's going to be the best date for your whole family? But it does. And that is what is so cool. So you can use this for everything in your life, everything. And the challenge for all of us is that our brain, we were raised to trust our intellect, right? All of us are. But you know what? Intuition overrides brain. And after a while, they learn to work together. They learn to work in a partnership, okay? And so you can pick out a date, family says yay, then you say to your brain, okay, we got a date, July 18th. Now, let's put this together, all right? This is how they are to work in a partnership together. So my suggestion for you, how do you get started with all of this? Well, you tell your intuition, I want to have a relationship with you. I want to learn to hear what it feels like when you say yes to me and when you say no to me. You can even say to your intuition right now, well, what does yes feel like? You got to watch out that your brain isn't going to get in there and try to control things, because that's how it's going to be in the beginning. But it does change, I promise. All right. And then you say, well, what does it feel like when you say no? It's kind of a dead feeling, like there's no energy there. But yes has an energy to it. So let's say that you've got a list of things that you want to do that day. And so you write down, you know, I'm going to go to the grocery store, and then I have to go to the hardware store, and then, oh, I have to go to the post office. Oh, yeah, oh, I got to get gas for the car. Okay. Now, you got your little list, right? Okay. Now, your head might say, well, let's go here first because that makes better sense. And then you look at your, well, yeah, then oh, yeah, and then we'll go here because, yeah, your intuition, you want to go back to your intuition with your list and say, what's the best order to do this in? And you ask your intuition, should I go to the store first? No. Oh, second? No. Oh, third? Yes. Oh, okay, third. That's number 3. Gas station? Oh, first. Oh, I wouldn't have thought that. Okay. And the post office. Second, I should do that second. And you get this funny feeling. What? 4? I don't have 4 things on my list. Oh, that's right. I was still supposed to drop off that back. Oh, I get it. Okay. And there you've got it. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, you might be thinking to yourself, now, Echo, come on. No, I'm telling you, this is what's cool. Because my post office here in Minneapolis, it's always packed with people. It's small. So it goes on my list. That means that when I get there, the 4th thing on my list, nobody's going to be in there. And I'm going to get right in and out. All right. And it means that that shipment of shrimp at the store is just going to arrive when I get there for the shrimp. Okay. And when I go to, I've already forgotten my list here, but when I get to number 1 here, oh my gosh, there's a friend of mine at the gas station that I haven't seen for months. I'm telling you, it's going to put everything in order for you so that you run into friends, you get there when there's a great sale, you get to the place when there's nobody else there, and you're the only one in line. I'm telling you, it is the coolest thing ever. So try it, okay? Just try it. Slowly work into this. See, it said yes to that, it said no to that, and you could go do the no thing just to see, well, why wasn't I supposed to do this? Okay, especially with the COVID, this is very important. It lets us know who to hang out with, when to stay home, always. Your intuition, I guarantee you 100% will never lie to you, will never send you someplace that you shouldn't be. Ever, ever, ever. It's like living with your best friend in your pocket. Always getting the best advice, getting exactly what you need. Okay? Great. And if you need some help along the way, I have a book called A Still Small Voice that I highly recommend. And I also highly recommend Living in the Light by Shakti Gawain. Okay? All right. God bless.